Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto Byte. Today is Monday, December 27th, and I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas weekend. We did here. So excited to get back into some price action, though, because we see Bitcoin is bouncing. Also, we have some news pieces that I want to hit regarding Fantom, which has been absolutely on fire, as well as some other assets like DOT and Cardano, which haven't seen a lot of love recently, but over the weekend began to rally here and are showing signs of strength as we enter the week. But before we get started, CJ, Doc Bounce, how are you gentlemen doing today?
Doing good. Just hope everybody had a nice Christmas and holiday season. Nice to have a nice little break here over the weekend and get some bullish price action. So, how you doing, John?
I'm doing well, CJ. Good to see ETH back up over 4,100. Good to see Bitcoin back over 51. I can't wait to hear some of the input that you have on Fantom. And by the way, Solana up 18% in the last week. Pretty damn nice move there. Even, some of the dogs. Cardano making a 28% jump, 10% of that just today. Yeah, feeling pretty good about most of those. I wish I had more.
Yeah, absolutely. And that leads me into this first piece of news. Like John said, some of the dogs, as he put it, have been, actually seeing some really nice price action over the last 48 hours or so. And that includes Cardano and Polkadot. And, CJ, it's funny because you put these two assets kind of in the same category last week as sort of, these projects that are led by, these very, kind of visionary leaders, Gavin Wood and obviously Charles Hoskinson. But over the last few months, they've kind of underdelivered in terms of, bringing new tech to the platform. Obviously, Polkadot had that parachain auction that saw a lot of DOT locked up. Cardano has been, seeing lots of commits, but really, still no true, ecosystem for Cardano. So it's been interesting to note that both of these assets have jumped over the last 48 hours and have really kind of been some of the biggest gainers. As you can see here, Cardano really made a nice move over the last 24 hours and is continuing to show signs of strength this morning. And the same thing is true with DOT here. And like I said, parachains have been really the big story for DOT over the last month. They've been in the process of putting out these parachain auctions. And, as a result, there was a lot of sell pressure on the market as, people kind of locked up their DOT during that process. But as a result, now we're starting to see some strength come back to Polkadot. We're seeing that as well in Cardano. So just figured that was worth noting. But also, this one, John, as you mentioned, Fantom absolutely has had an incredible 2 weeks here of price action. Just take a look at this chart here. And I think if you look at this tweet from the Fantom Foundation, there's been positive news on top of positive news. Binance US listed Fantom, Webull listed Fantom, Block Native, Chainstack, DIA data, all added Fantom support. Obviously, total volume locked has increased dramatically over the last couple weeks here. But CJ, I want to toss a question to you because you published a trade insight for our members a few weeks ago. You were in, kind of early on this Fantom trade. What are some of the things about this project that appealed to you that kind of led you to get in on this trade?
Well, the first thing was that they have a really bullish vesting schedule, or it's basically over. So all the early rewards that were given to founders and initial liquidity to provide incentives, all of that finished last November of 2020. So theoretically, that sell pressure is no longer in the market. We actually saw a pretty big rally following that event. But when you compare that to other protocols such as Near and other cryptocurrencies which have, extended vesting schedules, those creators are going to be, selling coins and adding sell pressure to the market. Whereas with Fantom, that's already occurred. It's already behind us. And so now I think that there's less sell pressure ultimately on Fantom. That's one of the reasons I really like it. And one of the first reasons I started looking into it. The second one is because it is severely undervalued, in my opinion, in relation to the total value locked on its blockchain. When you just take something like Cardano, which does not have a lot built on it yet, I think it will in the future, and there will be a lot of total value locked on Cardano. But as of now, I think a lot of that valuation is based on future potential. Whereas with Fantom, they already have a full working ecosystem. They have pretty much the equivalent of something like a Terra Mir protocol, where you can actually trade synthetics and mint synthetics on the Fantom network. They also have FUSD, which is that stable coin relationship, similar to how Luna has Terra UST. So overall, I think there's a lot of really interesting fundamental developments that make Fantom, somewhat of a hidden gem. And I think traders really started to realize that over the past couple of weeks with this price action here. Now, I do want to say one final thing in terms of the team and the actual developer talent that is working on this project. So the lead DeFi architect for Fantom and really who created it is a guy named Andre Cronje. And he is a very famous and prolific developer who created Yearn Finance by himself. But the interesting thing is that he did not take any YFI prior to building it. This is different from, like for instance, Stani, when he created Aave. Obviously, the founders got a lot of Aave. But with Yearn Finance, Andre basically just launched it and didn't give any YFI to himself as a founder grant because he didn't want people to have the expectation in DeFi for him to stick around to that project. And, shortly after that, Yearn Finance became a multi-billion-dollar protocol, and Andre was still, tired, broke, and close to quitting DeFi, as you can see here by this Decrypt article in August of 2020. At this particular point, he came on to Fantom and started building really interesting stuff. One of the most notable is the Ardian NFT marketplace that has really seen a lot of volume and has created some great stuff in the Fantom ecosystem. So when you have that amount of talent and you have a really core team who's focused on taking down those goals and really pursuing things in DeFi with limited marketing, I think you have a recipe for mass adoption. And I do expect it to grow similar to like AVAX in terms of ecosystem development and total value locked. But don't misinterpret me. I'm not saying it's going to go there in a straight line. Obviously, we are up like over 100% in the last week. But nonetheless, I think the fundamentals are very bullish for Fantom in the long term.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff, CJ. It really does check all the box of those, things you look for when you're doing that kind of fundamental analysis of a project. And one last thing I want to say about Fantom that is pretty funny is, you pull up that NFT there. That was a little picture of Pierre Gasly, who's a Formula One driver. I don't know if anyone watches Formula One, but a few weeks ago in the final race, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Fantom actually did sponsor a couple of the drivers, including Pierre Gasly. And you could see the Fantom logo every time it would show the driver's perspective. So it was really cool, some cool exposure. And those things are important ultimately to the health of the project.
Last thing I'll mention about Fantom is Ari Paul's Block Tower Capital. They were early investors in it. They're also, with a consortium of hedge funds and institutional interests, are starting a Y Combinator for startups on the Fantom ecosystem. So it's good to see the scarcity. It's good to see the demand coming in, and it's good to see institutional participation. So a recipe for some positive price action, I think, in the coming months here.
Absolutely. Well said, CJ. One thing that, I think has become very evident at this point is that in order for, Bitcoin and the crypto market in general to have, some positive price action continued is strength in traditional equities. And today we're seeing, a nice start to the holiday week here. But Doc, I want to toss it to you. What's your outlook for this week here? Because I really do think it's going to be important for the crypto markets.
I think in all likelihood, we're going to drift higher in both. Obviously, you guys have nailed some of the, real movers in crypto from Sand, because Sandbox is still just a monster. Fantom, yes. Sandbox, absolutely. Sandbox, SAND. But I think a lot of them drift up, big guy. I don't know that there's any real tax loss selling that we could anticipate at this point in cryptos. I'd be pretty surprised. But if they did, they would be smart in that, not that it's smart to get out, but selling it when it was down to, what did it slam? What was the slam low? 43,000 a week ago, or 10 days ago, something like that. That ain't, dips are when we buy, rallies are when we sell, at least when I'm trading, guys. So if people were getting flushed out and forced out, liquidated, that we talk about all the time, different story. But I don't really think you'll see much in the way of tax loss selling into the end of year here, because shoot, the asset right now, it's up 75% year to date. I was jousting with some people on Twitter over the weekend because this one guy was giving me a hard time, saying how unstable it was and how, they've always talked about 100K and I haven't seen it. And I'm like, and he said, I've been watching it for years and everybody says 100,000 and it's not there yet. And I kind of pointed out to him, well, if you would have been in this year, you're up 75%. Last year, 400%, from 2020 till now, or from 2019 till now, 1,400%. What are you waiting for? You're just going to wait till it ticks 100,000? Is that how you invest? And then other people were out there saying, oh, John, crypto's just like the dot bombs. And I was thinking, I didn't even bother with this one, but I was thinking, yeah, I want to be the guy that dumped Amazon at 3, because, if anybody was around in 2000, and I know you guys weren't even born then, but if anybody was around in 2000, Amazon traded under $5 a share, folks. And that was called a dot bomb because of that. It went down from, I can't remember if it was 80 or 90, all the way down to $5. They were throwing out the baby with the bathwater and all that sort of thing. But, there are always some stocks, or in this case, some protocols or tokens that are going to get crushed. And, that's why we trade them, because you can catch one of these that does what Fantom did, or what ADA, Cardano did, or what Sand did this year. Doesn't mean you want to hold it forever. Maybe you do. Maybe you want to hold some forever. But boy, if you're looking at, thousands of % returns and you don't want to take a little, okay, then you really are a true believer. I'm a trader and I really only own right now, for the long term anyway, Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Hedera. Those are what I own for the long term, because I happen to think those last two, Solana and Hedera, are good for that high frequency, that fast turn trading. Maybe I'll become, maybe CJ will win me over, Monty, to be a long-term Fantom guy. Right now I'm a Fantom trader, and I'm a Sand trader, because I think both are exciting. I don't know if they're here for the long term, but I'm willing to, be on the ride right now, and I love it.
Yeah, well said, Doc. And, looking back at this year, we're at the end of the year here. It's been a pretty crazy year, and we've seen products emerge. We've seen products, get rug pulled and go to zero. So, there are assets that you want to be holding, but some that you want to be trading. And I think that, that will be a common theme next year, as well as we continue to see, various layer ones develop and DeFi ecosystems underneath them. So it's been a really exciting year, but a very exciting final week here to close it up. I think we're set up for some interesting price action. And one last thing I want to say before we close up here is that on Wednesday, CJ and I will be doing a free webinar for anyone that would like to attend. You can register at marketrebellion.com. I'll also post a link in the chat here. But it'll be Wednesday, December 29th at market close. And basically, if you have any questions regarding crypto, anything at all that confuses you, you can drop it in the Q&A and we will answer that question for you. So definitely head over there, check that out, get registered. I will post the link in chat now. But yeah, I think that's about all we got for today. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to hang out with CJ and I in the crypto room, it was a pretty exciting weekend of price action, and it was cool to see some traders in there over the holiday weekend trading. You can join us for just $7 for the first week at marketrebellion.com/try crypto. We have an extensive education curriculum, a 24/7 chat, pro charting service. We publish trade insights, news, and a whole lot more. So head over there and check that out. And as always, thank you to Voyager for sponsoring this show. If you guys are looking for a place to trade or hold your crypto related or your crypto assets, head over to investvoyager.com, where you can earn up to 12% interest on DOT and 10% interest on USDC. And if you do, use code REBEL25 for $25 in crypto when you sign up. But I think that's all we got for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be doing a members only Doge of the Day right after this, but we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Take care.
Thank you.